Welcome back. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're actually unpacking a really fascinating premise that takes us on a literal physical journey right across India, tracking actual geographical locations tied to the ancient epic, the Ramayana. We aren't just recounting a story here, we're mapping it directly onto the landscape itself. Okay, let's dive into this. The core argument the source material presents is, honestly, incredibly compelling. It asks us to look at the physical, geographical, and even geological evidence across India, and asks, what if this stuff actually blurs the line between mythology and literal history? What if these real-world locations serve as a tangible historical record of the epic?
To really wrap our heads around this, we're going to frame our analysis like a chronological travel guide, tracing the physical path of the exile. We'll start up in Nasik, head down to Kerala, check out the caves of Kashkinda, look at some ancient engineering, and then finish up with carbon dating and geology. Let's hit the road.
Stop 1 on our journey, the origins in Nasik. We're setting the scene at the Panchavati region, which is the specific geographical spot where this massive epic's main conflict officially kicks off. And right away, the linguistic connection here is just super fascinating. So the city of Nasik actually gets its name from the Sanskrit word Nasika, and that translates literally to nose. Why? Well, according to the sources, this is supposedly the exact physical spot where Lakshmana cut off the nose of Ravana's sister, Surpanakha. Talk about a physical catalyst for a massive conflict, right? Right here in this same Panchavati region, you can still find these ancient, mysterious caves. And locals will tell you, they firmly believe these centuries-old rock formations are the exact places where Ram, Lakshmana, and Sita actually lived during their exile. I mean, it's wild to think about, but this very landscape is presented as the ground zero for that infamous chase of the illusionary golden deer, the very event that leads directly to Sita's abduction. All right, so moving further down south, we hit stop 2, the fall of Jatayu in Kerala. This introduces us to the site of a truly pivotal and really tragic interception that happened during that abduction. The ancient texts detail the timeline of Jatayu, who is described as this half-human, half-bird figure. He had made a solemn vow of protection to Ram. So during Sita's abduction, Jatayu fights this fierce battle right up in the sky, and despite being mortally wounded, literally losing a wing, the sources claim he held on to life in a near-death state just long enough to deliver Sita's dropped jewelry to Ram as proof of what happened. And then Ram personally performed his final cremation rites right at this very geographical location. And to mark this event today, Kerala is home to this massive, modern-day physical memorial called the Jatayu Earth Center. It stands as a striking tribute to, and I quote the source here, a creature who sacrificed his life for a woman's honor. It's this incredibly powerful, tangible manifestation of an ancient text sitting right there in the heart of the modern Indian landscape. Okay, let's keep moving south and see how this builds. Stop 3, the caves of Kishkanda. We are now in present-day Karnataka, which is home to the heavily documented Shabari and Sugriva caves. Now here's where we find this fascinating geographical misunderstanding that literally drives the entire plot. So Sugriva and his brother Vali were tracking an illusionary demon into this specific cave. Sugriva stays outside, hears screams, and genuinely thinks Vali has died. So what does he do? He blocks the entrance with a massive rock to trap the demon inside. But Vali survived. He pushes the rock away and completely assumes Sugriva was trying to entomb him to steal the throne. This physical cave is presented as the literal birthplace of their totally bitter sibling rivalry. And that rivalry, it sets the stage for the forming of a legendary army. Geographically, Ram and Hanuman first meet at a place called Pampa Sarovar. There, Ram forges an alliance with the now exiled Sugriva and promises to help defeat Vali. But here's the catch. The two brothers looked completely identical in combat. So Ram uses this really brilliant physical-visual strategy. He has Sugriva wear a simple flower garland so he can actually tell them apart during the final battle. It works. Vali is defeated, Sugriva gets crowned king, and that vital monkey army is officially secured. Which brings us right to the climax of our physical journey. Stop 4, Rameshwaram. And this is where the narrative dramatically shifts gears, from tracking geography to looking at claims of absolutely incredible ancient engineering. So the crucial point the sources make here is all about the staggering logistical claims regarding the construction of the bridge to Lanka. According to the Valmiki Ramayana, the bridge's original name was actually Nal Setu, named directly after its chief engineers Nal and Neil. The project scope was just massive, spanning a distance of 100 yojanas. To put that into perspective, that's roughly 800 miles. And remarkably, the texts claim this immense engineering feat was completed in just 5 days. I mean, wow.
Which leads us directly into our fifth, and honestly, maybe most intriguing section. Stop 5. Carbon dating and geology. Here, the focus completely shifts to modern scientific and archaeological claims about the physical remnants of this ancient bridge.
The sources point out some major geological anomalies found in the stones down at Rameshwara. We're talking about coral stones that are literally filled with air pockets. This makes them unusually light for their massive size, like actually light enough for a monkey to carry. And furthermore, these specific types of stones, they are found exclusively in this one particular region of India. It's a detail that perfectly matches the logistical narrative described in the epic.
And this brilliantly illustrates our next point, which is a super compelling piece of archaeological evidence. According to the source material, carbon dating of the stones found beneath the waters of the bridge actually dates them to over 7,000 years old.
Based on this evidence, the source draws a pretty definitive conclusion. It states that scientists have allegedly noted these formations are technically impossible to form naturally and are 100% man-made. So, this scientific angle is being used to passionately assert that the epic isn't just a mythological tale, but literal history backed up by physical archaeology. Which brings us to our final question for today. With real physical geographical footprints stretching all the way from Ayodhya down to Rameshwaram, and modern claims of carbon dating and unique geology, does this physical evidence force us to rewrite our understanding of ancient epics? Whether you view it as faith, as pure mythology, or as literal grounded history, you have to admit the tangible marks left on India's geography are absolutely fascinating. Thank you so much for joining me as we unpack this source material today. Keep questioning the history around you, and I'll catch you next time.